BBQ Central.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike your match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. A show, which you didn't know, it talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. We are originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you. All right, look, if you want to jump in on the show tonight, you can lob me a phone call. If you would like to email the show, of course, you can do that as well. Here's your 2 bits of contact information.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966. Email Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. On the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you didn't get the newsletter. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now. Last weekend, the Memphis in May World Championship Barbecue Cook-Off event contest took place. And there was crowned a brand new winner, a first-time winner overall of the Memphis in May World Championship. And the winner this time comes out of the pork shoulder category. And in essence, taking down 2 world championships in the same weekend. One for the category, which is pork shoulder. Whole hog is like sticking in my head for some reason, and I don't want to say it. Pork shoulder wins to get them into the finals, and then they take down the finals. That, of course, one of the most prolific competition cooks and one of the most recognizable faces as it relates to the industry in general. The pitmaster of Cool Smoke Barbecue Team, Tuffy Stone, will be joining me, and we will obviously be breaking down the win in detail. We will also talk about, if you're not familiar with Tuff, aside from being somebody that you would recognize on the street if you are within the subculture because of all of the television exposure, successful cookbook, restaurant, catering company, appeared on this show any number of times, the list goes on and on. He has won all except one, and I don't even know if the one that he hasn't won yet is... For many, it is one of the ones to win, that being Houston Livestock and Rodeo. I believe that's the only one he hasn't won yet. Everything else he's won at least once, some multiple times. So when you look at contests that you want to win as you go into competition barbecue while you're currently existing in competition barbecue before you put out the fire forever, he's won them all, except for Houston Livestock. So quite an accomplishment, especially given the events of last weekend, and that will be Tuffy Stone in the first interview segment. Then we will be joined by the third Tuesday, one of the third Tuesday of the month recurring guests. She is the creator of GrillGirl.com. And sharing recipes tonight that involve smoking spices and salts and peppers, like grindable peppers, not red peppers or jalapenos, although you can smoke those as well. We also have some tips and suggestions for the upcoming Memorial Day weekend. Bunch of other stuff to cover, and that is Robin Lindar's GrillGirl.com. And then we will move to the second hour. We have an open last segment, so if you've always wanted to jump in on the show, that's probably your time to do it, right around that 10:35 or show segment. And at 10:14, we will be joined by a first-timer to the show, someone who has indirect ties to the show, believe it or not, and I'll leave it at that. But have you ever, there's certain things that you see, like, for instance, see this color? When I see this color on this thermos, I know exactly who makes this thermos. I don't even need to see the nameplate. I don't need to see the logo. All I need to see is that style cooler or thermos with that color on it. I know exactly who makes it. And I've had that one for well over 15 years, I believe. In the instant chat, you just saw me hold it up. You saw the color. Do you know who makes that thermos? I know it in a heartbeat. It's just one of those iconic brands, looks, you name it. I will be joined by the Eastern sales manager for Stanley Thermos, that being Sara Lewis, first timer. Or as it was initially introduced to me, Sara Ray Lewis, and see if you can do detective work from there. So there you have your show. 14 past this hour, Tuffy Stone. 35 past, Robin Lindar's grillgirl.com. And 14 past the second hour, Sara Lewis from Stanley Thermos. Looking forward to talking with Sara about Stanley. I have to be one of the biggest fans of Stanley ever. Like, that was one of my most prized possessions that I ever bought myself when I first started being on the road sales guy. I wanted something that was going to hold my coffee hot all day. And it does all day. All day. Love that thing. Again, and it's a workhorse. Again, I just said again 17 times. I mean, look how nice this thing looks, and it's 15 years old. Is there a born-on date on this thing? Serial number somewhere, but it's still ready to go. And it's not like those crappy other I'm getting off track. You can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram and Twitter /BBQ Central Show on Facebook. So if you're not currently doing that, please do that immediately, if not sooner. Last week, I told you about the Crowd Cow 100% dry-aged beef Wagyu hot dogs. Did I say Wagyu twice? That were ready to deliver last Wednesday. And as luck would have it, because we live in a great country where things do show up on time, they have arrived. There is a personal goal to get them tested out this coming weekend. It is Memorial Day, of course. I will say, at first blush, on the packaging, and they do come frozen, while it does say Wagyu hot dog, it does not.
Andrew, you are not prepared.
It does not make any mention of dry-aged anything on the label. So, suggestion box material going forward for Crowd Cow. If I was a purchasing consumer, and in this instance I wasn't because it was sent to me as a gift, but if I were a buyer, like for the person that bought this for me, I'm sure he would, as I would if I bought them for me, I would visually want to see the actual verbiage on the package, dry aged, because it doesn't say that. One could be led to believe otherwise, that there is perhaps no dry aging at all going on because it doesn't say dry aging. And I'm sure no one wants to feel like that, especially since it doesn't say that you're paying, or especially since you are paying a premium for these schweens. So again, 3 packages have arrived in the freezer. They come frozen. And on the packaging, it says 100% Wagyu beef hot dogs, but it does not make a reference to dry age. And again, that was a big selling point. So, all right. I went over this list last week, but a number of you were asking me for it over the course of the week. Let me get it out there one more time. This is the list of the 9 folks who are currently being voted on for what will end up being the 3 that make the BBQ Hall of Fame for 2019. Number 1, Aaron Franklin. Number 2, second Tuesday of the month guest, Meathead, who we unveiled last week to him, much to his surprise. Desiree Robinson from Cozy Corner. Wayne Monk from Lexington Barbecue. John Big Daddy Bishop, founder of Dreamland. Number 6, CB Stubblefield from Stubbs Barbecue. Number 7, Michael Ray Higgins, who is one of the co-partners of J&R Manufacturing, which is the company that makes Oiler Pits. Number 8, Jim Quisenberry, who was from what my research has told me, a fairly integral person and team getting Memphis in May off the ground back when it was a one-tent affair back in the day, early 80s, if you can believe that. And rounding out that top 9, or the list of 9, James Lemons from Lem's Barbecue in Chicago. I also have it on fairly good authority that that voting has already closed for the top 9, and that the 3 Hall of Fame inductees will be announced here by the end of the month. Or maybe it's next month. I forget. I'll figure it out. Before we get to Tuffy Stone, I want to talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers, the one-stop online shop for all things barbecue. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Sterling Big Papa Ball himself handpicks everything that is on that site, so rest assured that an expert is doing this. American-made grills, spices, rubs, sauces, it's all there. As it relates to the rubs, popular flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, all proven winners on the competition circuit and in your backyard, because they are in my backyard. Big Papa's offers 13 perfectly balanced flavors to transform ordinary meals to extraordinary. They also have that great partnership with Steph Franklin over at Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what is known as the West Coast Offense, and everybody's using that. They also own Granny's Barbecue Sauce, so if you're looking for something new, out of the ordinary, it's not going to blow your mind with crazy flavor profiles, but if you like things that are delicious, you'll love Granny's Barbecue Sauce. And aside from the premium selection of those rubs and sauces, they also offer the very best wood charcoal and pellet cookers out there on the market today. If you're looking for a smoker that's easy to use, check out the Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill. Big Papa Smokers, the exclusive Mac dealer, and even offer special packages. Not a fan of pellet cookers? All right. Take a look at the Old Hickory Ace BP. It's the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on his competition trailer. And if you're a backyard barbecue enthusiast like me, looking for a durable and versatile grill that's easy to use and that will last forever, the M Grill from Texas is just what you need. They're built like tanks. Not sure of what grill you need? You can't go wrong with anything offered on BigPapaSmokers.com. They have something for every kind of budget and backyard cooker. If you have any questions, you call them at 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727. Shop the website, BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers.com. 2019 Memphis in May World Champ in both shoulder and overall. Tuffy Stone coming up out of the break. Stick around. Be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, this portion of the show brought to you by Butcher's Barbecue, makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rubs, seasonings, barbecue sauces, grilling oils. The list goes on. All the Butcher Barbecue products tested on the competition circuit as well as backyards worldwide. Head on over to butcherbbq.com to stock up right now. That's butcherbbq.com. Always trust your butcher. Oh, no. Try that one. My next guest, one of the most recognizable faces in barbecue. You see him on TV, in his restaurants, writing books, competition trail, This past weekend, you might have seen him in Memphis, Tennessee, winning not only the world title in pork shoulder, but added Memphis in May overall grand champ as well. His first overall MIM title, by the way. So let's go ahead and race to the Fogo Charcoal Hotline and welcome back the pitmaster of Cool Smoke, BBQ Hall of Fame'er, Tuffy Stone joins me here on the show. Tuffy, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Greg, I'm doing well. How are you?
Absolutely fabulous. Probably not doing any better than you are, though, given the events of this past weekend, no doubt about it. So did you spend all of the winnings that night that you put on Instagram?
We tried. We put a dent in it, but we were all moving a little slow, so we went to bed early. So we're gonna have to spend some more time working on that.
So let's start with this past weekend, Tuffy, knocking down 2 world titles, pork shoulder to get into the final, and then overall world champ. You certainly aren't new to this particular event, that being Memphis in May, and it's truly a one-of-a-kind competition. So do you prepare for this particular event any differently than you would if you were going to a KCBS contest or a Houston contest or something other than a Memphis contest?
Absolutely. With Memphis in May, there's a lot. I have to bring a lot more equipment, so we have to set up. We rent tents and tables and chairs and flooring. Our site's pretty modest in comparison to some of the elaborate double deckers down there, but so we have to coordinate the rentals, and then it's a matter of you have to present your. In this case, I'm cooking whole shoulder, so I've got to have enough pit capacity where I can show the judges a whole shoulder on my pit, but I need to have a second pit because I'm cooking 8 shoulders. So there's that to deal with. There's platters, there's linens and tables for the judges to sit at. So there's a lot of those kind of elements that are completely different than when I go cook a Kansas City Barbecue Society contest or Houston Livestock Rodeo show or something like that.
Does your catering background help at all as far as getting that whole thing set up and acclimating yourself?
Absolutely. I think, honestly speaking, my catering background has helped me just in competition as a whole, because I'm so used to cooking in makeshift kitchens and having the elements to deal with, and so I believe that's helped me just not only from the setup for the presentation of Memphis in May, but just as a cook as a whole. And then my wife Leslie, she is so amazing. We create pack lists and work on we work on pulling this together for probably a couple of weeks, and we have tubs and platters and toppers and you name it, napkins, and so the catering part certainly makes the presentation part of Memphis in May a lot more easy.
From a pork shoulder standpoint, obviously you are affiliated with Smithfield. They obviously sponsor this show, so it's obviously Smithfield shoulders going on. Do you have a particular? I know they have a couple different lines of shoulders. Which ones did you use, and what did you win with?
Well, and so I'm a big fan of the Prime, which is in the process of changing to an all natural line, but it's not enhanced at all. All of the shoulders that I had, I cooked 8 shoulders. They were all 25 pounders or thereabouts. They were really close to 25 pounds before I did a little trim work to them. They were beautiful. The marbling in these Smithfield shoulders was really, really great. And as well as I do, when we're cooking long cooked meats like ribs or shoulders or any big cuts, the more marbling that's in there, the better. And so I was really happy with my product. It was about from the kill date to the date that I cooked it, it was about 13, 14 days old, which is perfect for me. I like my shoulders to have aged that amount of time before I cook on it. And so I tell people all the time, when I get to a contest, I come with sharp knives, good wood, clean pit, fresh rubs, good sauce, and great meat, and just hoping that you have all the things. Hopefully you get there with all the things that you would need to stand a chance in doing well, and these shoulders were just beautiful.
Have you come to learn that 8 shoulders is what you need, or is that just what you're supposed to cook?
No, so you need a whole shoulder for each on-site judge for the preliminary. So there's 3. I like to have options, so I cook 8. I stagger cook 2 in hopes that we make finals. Well, if we don't make finals, we don't have any use for the 2 that we stagger cook. And I've been fortunate and needed those shoulders, and I've also cooked those shoulders and not made finals, and then it just becomes food that you take home. But so I will typically have 3 for the preliminaries, 2 choices for if we make finals, so that's 5, and then I'll have 3 that I can potentially work off of for the blind box. And sometimes I will get into just 2 for the blind box. Sometimes I'll get into 3 for the blind box. I've got lots of sayings, as you know. One of my sayings is it's better to be looking at it than looking for it. And so I like to have choices. Jamie made me a really beautiful double barrel Jambo, and that's a 30-inch diameter pipe on each side, and I'm able to comfortably put, well, that's a tight squeeze, but I can put 4 nice whole shoulders on each side.
So you end up finaling in shoulder along with your pal Chris Lilly of Big Bob Gibson's. No news to you, but nobody's won Memphis in May more than that guy, of course. It has to feel great to get over the hump and have a sniff at finals instead of being a bridesmaid in shoulder again.
I was we every year there's always a bump in the road in your cook, and another one of my sayings is it's all in how you handle catastrophes. And we had a couple of situations that we had to sort through, and our shoulders we ended up having to push the heat up on them that morning, and that's for me, that's not the preferable way to cook a whole shoulder, because where that joint is at the point and the butt, if it gets too hot, it'll pop on you, and it doesn't make for a very nice presentation. But we had to push the heat up on these and kind of sort through that. And then we built a blind box. I felt like that was pretty. What's interesting is my Memphis MA presentation is not as composed or as fanciful as I would do for Kansas City Barbecue Society. So I always kind of look at that box and say, but it could be so much prettier. But I toned it down for that. And so we did that. And my first preliminary on-site, I tend to be a little clunky on the first one. And then by the second and the third, I get smoother. And we did that. And then it was crazy. I had to drive across to West Memphis after that and pick up a trailer that I had purchased. Mm-hmm. And so we dealt with that. We came back across the river, and we were waiting, and we were waiting, and we were waiting, and it's a long wait. And all of a sudden, we hear the roar team of Big Bob Gibson's, because there's one spot between us and them. And they're cheering, and it's energetic. And I'm like, oh, man, they made finals, and I hope we made finals. And one of the ambassadors there was so great. She got over to us less than a minute later. We had made finals, too. And anybody that knows me knows I kind of get emotional with that stuff. So we were the team. We were all just, very enthusiastic and happy to make it finals. And for me, making finals at Memphis in May, having started in KCBS and then, eventually trying, giving a go at Memphis in May, I'm happy if I get any kind of trophy. It doesn't matter what size it is. And so making finals, you could at least be third. And I was like, we got in the zone. We had a great, everybody that was on the teams cooked with us in the past, and we did a much better job this year, Greg, of organizing responsibilities, and we just went into motion. And I was kind of getting in the zone. I tell Sterling Ball this all the time. Whenever I have a chance to win a world championship, whenever I have a chance to cook a world championship, I always just kind of get in the zone and try and just be, trying to just have my best cook ever and control the things that I can control. And so I was thinking about this presentation and just knowing how important it was going to be. In addition to the beautiful Smithfield shoulders, I had to be on point. And So they got there and it just flowed and the team did great. And here's something I didn't know, Greg. So we had to be the first shoulder to be judged. And in KCBS, historically, back in the old days, we always wanted a high number on our box in KCBS, because if you had a high number, they used to judge them numerically in numerical order. And so if you had a high number, it was always a good chance that your food was going to be judged last. And that was the way we always wanted to be in KCBS. Right. And so when I was being judged first, I was like, oh man, wow, this isn't good. But I found out later that day that when they judge, so we had the best shoulder score going coming out of preliminaries, and I didn't know that, and that's why we were being judged first. But Red Hot Smokers is an amazing shoulder cook, and then like you said, with Chris Lilly, it goes without saying. I mean, I have so much respect for him as a pit master. He posted a picture, or somebody posted a picture of his shoulder on Instagram, and I looked at that shoulder, and I like, my gosh, that is one beautiful shoulder. So I was like, I was just like, it's going to be tough for us to take this, and we did our best, and then afterwards we eventually went, and it was an amazing day.
Tuffy Stone joining me, recapping the big win over at Memphis in May this past weekend. Tuffy, I've asked this question a number of times to folks that are in Memphis in May, and they have that status. So, I mean, when you are who you are, TV exposure, successful author, successful restaurateur, few in barbecue rival your recognizability. So when it comes to the on-site judging portion of this, do you see your status as something that you need to overcome, or do you see it as something that actually might give you an advantage to some degree?
Well, I have felt in years past that it probably hurt me in a couple of situations. I've had, anyways. So I don't know. I did not know the judges, the finals judges, and I had someone tell me that they were all. I knew they were all really experienced judges, because they'll have something that they wear that makes you realize that they've been doing this for a while. But I was told that they were very experienced judges, and I just always go into my presentation like I don't know. I always just try and be very humble and very like, you don't know who I am, and I'm going to introduce you to me and my team and where we're from and how we cook this food that we're serving you. And here's all my thoughts on my rub and my sauce and my pit and the selection of my pork and the wood that I use and why. And I just kind of go through it that way. At the end of the day, just to get the finals, you got to win blind box. Yep. If you don't win blind box, you're not going anywhere. And I think I've cooked Memphis in May now 9 times. I think I've made finals 5 times, and this is the first time that we ever won it. So, to answer your question, I don't know. I don't. And I still feel like I'm a newbie in Memphis in May, to be honest with you. It's like I've cooked it 9 times, but so many of my buds down there. I mean, Chris Lilly and Myron and Melissa and Pat Burke and Mike Mills, and this list is just so long. I mean, Pat Burke cooked his 30th straight Memphis in May this weekend. I mean, 30 years. Wow. I mean, it's incredible. So I don't think it helped. I don't think it helped me. And what I know about all the judges that I get to talk to, all the judges that I know and or have met, they're really focused on trying to award the best food. What I love about Memphis in May is it is comparative judging, and they can really take their time. And golly, the point spread between Cool Smoke and Big Bob Gibson's was so small. I mean, it was so small. So I feel really blessed that we got to walk the stage, and then when we were up there and we were getting ready to call Brand, I was tripping out. I was like, man, there's no way we're gonna win this thing. There's no way. And then they called us, and it was unbelievable. But you know, I said this on the stage. There were so many of my mentors and friends that are just tremendous pit masters. You know, and Chris Lilly. I mean, what he can pull out of a shoulder is just, he's brilliant. He's just brilliant. And I don't know how many of those trophies he has, Greg, but he's got a whole bunch of them.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, when you can get a shipment of pork shoulders frozen and still end up winning Memphis, still win shoulder and still win Memphis and May in the same year overall, I mean, you're certainly doing something right, no doubt about it. And we're talking with Tuffy Stone, the 2019 Memphis and May overall world champ. All right, so here's a quick list. If you aren't familiar with some of these, let me refresh your memory here, Tuffy. You've won the Jack 3 different times, 13, and then back-to-back 15 and 16. You've won both sides of the American Royal, the Open in 14, and the Invitational side on 13. You won the 2015 Kingsford Invitational. You've also garnered the 2012 Gary Wells Sportsmanship of the Year Award. And, of course, I think kind of where we first met, the 2007 KCBS Team of the Year. Quite an esteemed, accomplished list that most pitmasters would be highly sought after to accomplish during whatever cooking career they have. Do any of these stand out over and above the rest for any reason?
Well, first of all, you can't see me right now, but my face is really red.
Well, I mean, you won them, so, I mean, you did it.
I'm going to tell you, there's been so many amazing, beautiful things that I've been able to go through in competition barbecue, and every one of those things that you just mentioned has a story. And I got to do them with my father and friends, but if I had to pick one out of all those things that made me that touched my heart, and it was so funny, it was so uneventful. One day I opened a package at work, and it was the Gary Wells Sportsmanship Award, and there was no fanfare. It just came in the mail, and that really touched my heart a lot. So if I got to pick one out of that amazing list that you just read, that's the one that's most meaningful.
Yeah, and you know what? That doesn't surprise me one bit. I mean, we've talked a lot over the years about winning this competition or that competition, but I don't know if it largely just kind of goes unnoticed, or if you really got to start digging through what about Tuffy Stone or what have you won, and that one shows up. And as I was prepping for this interview, I'm like, man, I'm going to ask this question, but I guarantee it's really not the contest. It's getting recognized for being a great human being, and we all know what the Sportsmanship Award is all about. So I figured that probably was going to be the one that might stand a little bit head and shoulders above the rest here.
It was just such a funny moment. It was like, it touched me, and of course, you and everybody else probably know how emotional I get, but you know, little boxes came in the mail, and I opened it up, and there it was, and I had a tear to the eye, because it was so sweet that people felt that way, and so anyways, but it was you think about the Jack or the Royal or Memphis and May or all these things, and there's usually like lots of energy about the people and excitement. Here it was, just this private moment of me at my desk, and it was sweet.
What does the rest of the 2019 schedule look like for competition?
Well, so, some of the things I've been doing the last year or so that's really bringing me so much joy is I'm doing festivals where I'm cooking for people that I can see their faces when they eat it, and that's just making me so happy. And I did South Beach Food and Wine, I did Charleston Wine and Food, and I got to cook for the troops with Stretch and the Mess Lords, and that, being a former jarhead, that's been so meaningful for me. So I want to do more of those kinds of things. I did. I am, and I'm gonna be taking pictures. But I finally got a porch trailer. I had to retire the RV. Had 175,000 barbecue miles on it, and so I've got this porch trailer that I'm gonna fix up and do some work on it. I'm gonna put a Jambo enclosed model that I've had for a very long time on there. And I would have told you before Saturday that if I could cook, I'm getting it, winning Memphis in May. I'm now an automatic for the Jack, so I get to go down to the, we get to go to the Jack again, and I'm super excited about that.
Yep.
I am doing the Washington D.C. contest, which is a contest that I love, and I do some demos there. My dad enjoys doing competition barbecue so much that he'll be 79 in December, and I think this new porch trailer hopefully will make it easier for him. So we'll pepper in some competition barbecue, but I'm really enjoying I'm working on a restaurant. You're the first. I haven't talked about this to any type of media or anything, but I'm working on a new restaurant with my wife and my partner Josh, and I'm excited about that. It's going to have a market and a restaurant. You're the first, Greg. So there you go. You heard it first on your show. But that's going to hopefully open in. It's probably looking early fall now. So that's going to have some cool stuff going on. It's going to have a market with a little meat section in the back, and we're going to have a wood burning grill and a wood burning oven. We're going to do some fun stuff. So, anyways, I always got something that I'm working on.
Man, busy.
I just can't thank you enough for having me on your show, man. It's like I just rehashing this with you. Me and everybody on the team, I think we still feel like we're kind of in a dream. And this didn't really happen. So being on your show, kind of like maybe it did happen.
Yeah, it's always good to relive it and then re-soak it in, let it soak in over the course of the week, and it certainly will feel like a nice new suit come the beginning of next week, no doubt about it. And it's something that you can just put on the belt notch there, and it's yours. Nobody can take it away now. You got 2019 Memphis in May world champion and shoulder champion to go along with it. It's Tuffy Stone, the pitmaster of Cool Smoke. Tuffy, really appreciate the time catching up and letting us into this whole look back. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you so much. I appreciate all the things you do for barbecue, and thanks for having me again.
You got it. There he is, Tuffy Stone, your 2019 Memphis in May world champion, both overall and in shoulder. I mean, that's important. So remember, there are 3 world champions. You have one in shoulder, you have one in ribs, you have one in whole hog, and then you have the overall world champion. So Tuffy gets 2 of the 4, won 50% of those world championships. I'm no mathematician, but that's a pretty good percentage right there. All right, we're a little long there, but I'm sure Robin will forgive me, and we'll make it up to her here on the backside. Green Mountain Grills. Let me talk to you quickly about those. Both Robin and I are fans of Green Mountain Grills, believe it or not. They have 3 different sizes for you to choose from. They also have 2 different lines. So if you're looking for the latest and greatest, the Prime line is something you want to look at. They got the peek-in windows on the cooking chamber and in the pellet hopper. A little bit more of a sturdy chassis, okay? And great new features like the 12-volt power control. They have the dual internal meat temperature probes, just to name a few. They also have the classic line if you are more interested in that. The Jim Bowie and the Daniel Boone also have the ability where if you rip the guts out of those 2 cookers, you can drop in that pizza oven insert, and now you have a pizza party. In fact, I think Memorial Day is going to be pizza party at the Rempet House. Get in that big swim spa, eat pizza all day long because you can make them in like 2 or 3 minutes. So fun. GreenMountainGrills.com. That's GreenMountainGrills.com. They have pellets and sauces and rubs, all the other accoutrements that you need to. And we will be right back with the Grill Girl, Robin Lindar. Stick around, be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content. in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, this portion of the show being brought to you by cookingpellets.com. Your number one source for quality wood pellets. For all of the pellet-driven cookers, the Green Mountain Grills, the Cook Shacks, the Traegers, the Louisianas, the Pit Bosses, you name it. All those pellet cookers can use Cooking Pellets. You can buy online, cookingpellets.com, or on amazon.com if you prefer. Download the free app, too. Get alerted. It's the third Tuesday of the month, and you know what that means. We get a visit from Robin Lindars, the Grill Girl. Hey, Robin.
Hi.
So how
Happy
nice?
Tuesday.
How nice was it to? How nice is it to follow the 2019 Grand Champ of Memphis in May, Tuffy Stone?
Oh my God.
Wow,
Greg, I was like, holy shit! I usually follow Steven Reichland, which is already like not worthy, and then I get to follow Tuffy tonight. It's like, oh my God, wow! And can I just say that Tuffy's the nicest guy, and I'm so happy he won because I love him. And Memphis in May is its own animal. It's not just your average barbecue competition. I actually wrote something down when I was listening to him. Pork pageantry. That's the term that came to my head. Pork pageantry, and that is what Memphis in May is all about.
And
There's a lot of.
You're no stranger to Memphis in May. I mean, you had been competing there. You were going for like a handful of years in a row, right?
I've done 8 years, and I've been on 3 different teams. And the last team, my dad and I started with our friend Patrick Hilson. But as you know, there is a lot to doing a team. It's like running a small business. You're really like, especially in Memphis, it's not just like you're showing up for a barbecue competition. It's like, you know, it's like a $12,000 to $15,000 endeavor. It's a lot of stuff, you know. So it's very it can get very corporate. I feel like it's a little bit pay to play. Like as you see, you really a lot of people that do well have restaurants because I feel like you do have an advantage that way. Obviously, you have more resources. It's hardcore, but it's a shitload of fun too. It's super fun.
I mean, it seems like you almost have to be backed to some degree. I mean, I was watching Malcolm Reed's Instagram feed, and he was tracking progress of what ended up being, I guess, a replica of Graceland being built on some team site. It was 2 or 3 stories high, and it looked like they were building a house. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, it's such an event because it's not just the barbecue competition and the food. It's also
music and all that other
contests and all these different things going on. And you can spend a lot of money. And a lot of teams are party teams. They throw these big parties, and it's in a corporate event that it's an opportunity to host, you know, corporate sponsor people and feed them. And then your team, it's like, all right, are we competing to win, or are we competing to feed a bunch of people? And you end up like, how are we gonna it's just a stressful, there's a lot of moving parts. It's almost like, I think if you can figure out how to keep it small and get the right sponsorships, you're ahead. And you see all the people that win are also the ones that are focused, you know. But it's, you know, our team did really well in the pork. We did shoulder, but on the actual taste and the blind box, but of the presentation part, we totally messed up. So it's like, you know, there's just a lot of things you have to coordinate. So even your tablescaping, basically, like they judge you on the appearance of your tent. So a lot of people put out like sod in the front to make it look nice. I mean, it's crazy. So that's why it's refreshing to do like the state competitions where it's very like, you come in, you set up your grill, it's all the same day. It's totally different, which I love that.
So will you get back to Memphis in May next year or the year after, or at some point, or are you done and you've turned the page?
I want to go back, but just on a press pass. Like I started, you know, my dad and I, it was really my dad and Patrick started the team, but I think we didn't do it this year. Dad just wasn't in agreement on the direction and the way things were going. So I think it was just kind of a parting of ways, but in an amicable way. And I was always the head of sponsorship. So I was always trying to ask people to, you know, I was like, so that's why I kind of know a lot about how much goes into this, because it's expensive. So,
wow.
Which makes it hard to focus on what you need to be focusing on, which is how to win, you know. But then it turns into how do I pay to enter this competition that is such a major endeavor?
Yes,
So
it sounds
by
very
selling tickets to your
complicated,
team
and
is
oh
the-
my goodness, I mean, a
yeah,
lot of moving
yeah.
parts, and also, by the way, you have to cook really good food, and then you have to be a really great presenter. And I mean, it's
That's why it's like, and when you see Tuffy out there, he's always super focused and he keeps it small. And I'm super happy for him that he's won. He's awesome. He's such a good cook. So,
Robin, I don't know if you remember this or not, but on May 7th, your book came out. How about that? Dennis Busso in the instant chat is saying Robin's new book is awesome, so there's some instant feedback for you. So, and Dennis is a cookbook connoisseur, so he's not going to blow smoke up anybody's ass unless he thinks it's actually a decent book. So that's Dennis's
much
2
love to you
cents.
for that.
That's right.
I really wanted it to be special. I really poured my heart out into it. So thank you.
So it's out 2 weeks. I mean, do you get any type of feedback from the book people on benchmark successes or anything like this, or are you just hoping that it's still going well, or what?
I think it's going well so far. I mean, they didn't do like a big press tour or anything, but it's kind of a little more niche too. So I think yeah. So they said it's sold well so far on Amazon, but they don't know yet from what, like, the actual stores that sell the physical copies. Some of them pick them up later in the season, so that data is coming in. But I will ask anyone, if you have gotten the book, if you would be so kind to write me an Amazon review. Reviews are what help you bubble up to the top. So I would totally appreciate that from you guys.
Go write a review if you have Robin's new book. What's the title again?
Healthy electric smoking.
Right.
So, and I know it is niche. Some people are like, oh, I don't have an electric smoker. You can really apply these recipes to any smoker. I think they also work really well. Obviously, electric smoking and pellet smoking, they're not actually that different when you think about it. So most people do have a pellet smoker these days. These recipes are perfect for that as well.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about something that maybe you've had if you're like at a barbecue restaurant or you're at kind of a fancy avant-garde restaurant. Smoked salts, smoked peppers. This is something that you're into. I actually have some pictures that we can show up, but let's talk a little bit about processes and flavor profiles and best ways to use.
Okay. So, well, let me back up and just say I got this idea mainly because I love this company so much, Bourbon Barrel Foods. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
No.
They, I think, are in the same town as the Glanvilles from Pit Barrel.
Oh, okay.
I think they used to have like offices next to each other. But so they're based out of Kentucky, and they do like heritage soy sauce and things like that made from, like, you know, Kentucky soybeans. And they also do smoked salts and peppers and things like that. And that's how I discovered them. And I started cooking with them a long time ago, early on in my blog. And I've always loved them. And in my cookbook, even before the cookbook started, I started smoking salts to give away for Christmas presents, like a couple of years ago on my pellet smoker. And so, yeah, but let's just talk about, like, so smoked salts and peppers, and even think about one of the most valuable ingredients in your spice cabinet is your smoked paprika, right? Because even if you haven't smoked anything, it automatically adds flavor. So think about something that you use every day, like salt and pepper, how powerful that can be, because automatically you're adding not just salt or pepper, but that smoke essence, which is kind of like its own umami, right? Like Stephen Reichlin said that on your show a couple weeks ago, or I don't know when it was, a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, talking about how smoke is kind of like the other, like the other sixth sense, you know, like that umami, the taste that people love to add. So in this picture, what you can see is I've actually done this in the electric smoker, but as I mentioned, you can really do this in any grill or smoker. I've taken the electric smoker and so I'm smoking in that smoker, and I added a smoker tube full of pellets. And what I did was I took like a cookie sheet, and I put different types of salts on one side, and then like one's a fine grain sea salt, one's a large, or what would you call it, fine crystal. The other one's like a larger granule that you can put in a salt grinder. and also peppercorns, so that automatically, you know, when you have these on hand, it's so great because you're automatically getting that smoke flavor to anything you add. So even if it's something very simple, like let's just say something very simple, like grilled scallops with some butter, right? Like if you add just a little bit of like lemon juice and smoked salt, like you don't need anything else. Like it's perfect. You know what I mean? Like when you're just kind of using like really good fresh ingredients, like use ingredients that really pack a punch, right? And something like smoked salt and pepper really do. Or even thinking about like when you're making rubs, if you're using smoked salt and smoked pepper, you're already infusing your rub with smokiness, which is awesome. So it's something that there's a recipe for this in my cookbook, but I mean you can do this like I mentioned on any smoker really. But the smoker tube is important because it helps infuse more smoke, so that so basically you're just permeating the shit out of the air with smoke, so you're more likely to have it like absorbing or getting it into its essence.
So the picture that I'm looking at the moment,
I so non-eloquently described it.
No, it was pretty.
I'm not a scientist, but
Yeah, it was fairly eloquent. I knew what you were saying. So
not Dr. Blonder, but
you're Dr. Blonde. You're not Dr. Blonder, right? Dr. Blonde, but not Dr. Blonder. So the picture that we're looking at, is this post smoke? So let's say the salt that's more on the left side was more white, and now it's has the what's that?
So the left hand side is a large granule sea salt.
Yeah.
That might even be kosher salt, and then the other one are Himalayan salt granules.
Okay.
That you can put in like how you'd use a peppercorn grinder, you can grind the salt too. So that's what that was for.
And the smoke has laid this nice patina across the top.
Yes, it looks pretty, right? Like a little salt tapestry.
Yeah, I like that. So,
but I think that's like such an easy way to add flavor, and then take it a step further, and you can do things like mix the salt with like lemon zest or dried lemon rind for like a lemon pepper smoked salt.
Mm-hmm.
Or a lemon smoked salt or lemon rosemary smoked salt. Like you guys get the idea, but there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do. And these are really good for gifting, like housewarming gifts. If you're like, hey, here, have some smoked salt, and you put it in a cute little jar, or like a hostess gift, or
So when you and Scott open up the 20-acre mansion in the middle of Florida, and you have the Grill Girl housewarming party, you wouldn't be put off if I brought down a couple pounds of smoked salt, and you're like, oh, Rempy's a cheap ass, he brought down some smoked salt?
No, you know what we'll use them for? We'll put salt licks out. Scott's already been putting salt licks out on the property to attract animals. So hopefully the right kind, not the wrong kind. I want to get rid of some of the animals they found there so far. So yeah.
These can be
salt, Rempy.
These can be used for smoked cocktails, right? Because we also wanted to talk a little bit about that. I would imagine, on like a smoked margarita or something along these lines.
Yeah, so let's talk about all the different ways that you can infuse smoke into a cocktail. So you probably see like when you go out to like a fancy dinner, or they have like everyone's like got the craft cocktails now. That's me and Dad with the Smithfield. Smithfield photo. Smithfield. Yeah. So this is actually a picture from my cookbook. But let's just talk about how you can accomplish this. Like, and just getting back into my book, like my goal was just to kind of empower the person reading to like kind of just think outside of the box. Like I think a lot of the concepts I introduced in the book, like smoking certain ingredients to put into other things, are really, you can adapt it to a lot of the ways you cook, right? Like adding elements of smoke into stuff you wouldn't expect. So like for the margarita, you smoke the jalapeno, and then you shake it with the ingredients for the margarita to make it smoky, and a little spicy too, which is fun. And then for something like the old fashioned, what you can do is, and this is fun for a lot of different cool stuff, is you basically make smoked water, which is you put a pan of water in your smoker and while it's smoking, and then you get the smokiness. And you also can put something like a cheesecloth on the top so you don't get any ash in your water pan. So anyway, then you take that water and you freeze it in cool ice cube trays. So like for an old fashioned, like the big square ones is what you want.
Right.
Which is not in this picture because this was done by the cookbook photographer. Or maybe they did. I can't tell. Anyway, no, I think maybe they did. Anyway, so then you take that water and you put it in a cool molds, and then you can do something like, or you put it in the cool ice cube molds, and then you can do something like add a sprig of rosemary to it. And then you've got like a cool rosemary infused smoked ice. So anything that you add that ice to is going to infuse smokiness into the drink as the ice starts to melt.
And it's not an overpowering smoke. It's just like a flavor additive.
Yeah, it's just like a little infusion. It's like a hint.
Are you a fan of this? They bring a plank out, and they have all the ingredients on a cart, and then they have that little jet torch, and they start the plank on fire, and then right after it catches, they take the glass and they put it over the flame. Obviously, that takes out all the oxygen. The fire goes out, and now you have smoke just hitting the inside of that glass and rolling. Then they turn it over and they quickly make the old fashioned or the Manhattan or something along these lines. You like that, or is that too much?
I mean, I like it. I'm not going to do that for a cocktail party with 15 people there. It's like, when you go to Mexican restaurants and they make the guacamole at the table for you, and it's very exciting. That's how I would equate it. I mean, I think it's cool. I love it, but
better for show at a restaurant having somebody do it for you than for you doing it for 15 of your friends.
Exactly.
Yes. All right.
Or every time I want to drink, I got to go
you got to set things on fire. Right. Forget that. So Memorial Day is coming up this weekend. Obviously, anything we've already talked about, you should be getting ahead of yourself and having ready for the big Memorial Day weekend. But what do you like from a menu item? Are you into wings or anything like this?
So I just wanted to tell everyone, like, I feel like, well, the people that listen to your show might be different. They're the people that they're grilling year round.
Yes,
I feel like that's your demographic. It's not it's Memorial Day, we should grill something.
It's grilling season, everybody. Memorial Day. Yay. Right. And it closes on Labor Day. We can't grill after Labor Day or before Memorial Day.
The grilling gates have gone down. There's no more grilling.
Right. You could get shot.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you see John Solberg. He's out in like the middle of Michigan, which is like Antarctica, practically. Grilling in his backyard in like December because he's hardcore.
Right.
That's why we love him, and that's so we know there's no grilling season, but you're gonna have Monday off. So I feel like people are like, oh, what are we gonna do? Burgers, hot dogs? No, I think chicken wings are like the best grilled, and I think it's fun too for entertaining because you can take your meat, but then you could be like, let's do 3 different marinades and see which one we like better. So if you guys check out my site, this is like an Indonesian so you can do it with lemongrass or lime zest. So lime, cilantro, garlic wings, super yummy. These like like an Indonesian Tamil inspired recipe. I also have one I really, really like. These are if you like spicy, these are chipotle sriracha. They're spicy, but then you dip them in a homemade blue cheese dip, which is the bomb, which is also great for, and then this is such a good one too. I love this. These two, all of them actually, the dip on them, in the marinade on them, just make extra and you can just use it as dip. It's so good. But, so this is West Indies wings. So this is like a 4-ingredient wing marinade recipe, but it's so good. So it's a coconut milk base with like an island style habanero sauce. What else? With ginger and turmeric, and it's just amazing and so good.
Fresh ginger?
Fresh ginger's key.
Okay.
But in a pinch, the dried will do. It's better than nothing, right? But the ginger is like, it's just, that sauce would be so good over like some noodles, honestly, or zoodles, as like a spicy kind of, yet like spicy yet filling kind of creamy coconut based type sauce.
Am I late to the party, Robin, or am I keenly aware of trending items where this what is it? Cilantro lime sauce is like come out of nowhere and it's on everything. I just saw it at Costco. They have it on the steak. They had it by itself. They had something else that have it. Now you got cilantro lime wings. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, but I've been doing that forever.
Oh, I'm late to the party. Damn it. Damn it.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I always do stuff early though, because like I was doing keto 2 years ago, and actually 3.5 years ago, because I was doing it right after I had Hunter, and I was trying to get my bathing suit bod back because I had to go on this family vacation with a 6-month-old to the Dominican Republic. So yeah, I was like, anyway, that's another story. But so I don't know. I feel like sometimes some things it just takes a while for other people to catch on. Yeah, but cilantro and lime are a wonderful flavor combination.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I guess there's some people that hate cilantro just on its face. They're just haters of cilantro, but I'm a lover of cilantro. Sometimes I'll just take like little grape tomatoes and cut them in half and put a little olive oil, a little salt, a little pepper, and then some cilantro, and then just mix it all together. And I have like a little fresh tomato cilantro salad. It's delicious.
It is. I love cilantro too. Yeah. Like, it really kind of just makes tacos for me. Like instead of using lettuce, I'd just rather have like chopped up cilantro. But you know, some people do have like a weird like taste bud thing where for whatever reason cilantro tastes like dish detergent. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't. I'm glad I don't have it.
My friend, I've met a couple people that have this. It's really weird. I don't know what causes it, but Perry Perkins, who wrote the Kahachina cookbook, he and I did a thing together a while ago, and he's a really nice guy. He has that.
Well, that's too bad. So that means more cilantro for us, I guess.
Yeah, and it's always hard to grow. I've tried to grow it, and it dies very easily. So I must not have the magic touch for that.
Screw it. It's real easy to go buy in the grocery store all you want all day long. So no problem. Now, in the meantime, if you have questions or you want recipes or whatever, go to grillgirl.com. By the way, because I am always tracking Instagram followers. Last month, Robin, you were at 13,000 Instagram followers. Now you are just shy of 15,000 Instagram followers. Jeez, I mean, it's unbelievable.
I want to show you something really quick because when you were talking to Tuffy, look, let me see if I can get your camera. Look at this.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get a close-up here. So oh, that's Dave Grohl, right?
Let me see. Hold on. This is from last year's Memphis in May. I took a selfie with him on my Instagram. It was like my most liked photo of last year.
Wow.
He had been at the Sheds tent,
right,
and was hanging out with them. And then he was walking to someone else's tent, and I just went up to him while he was walking and was like, "Hey, can I take a selfie with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, if you keep walking." So we're like literally walking, and I'm like, "I'm gonna take a selfie with you," and I did it, and it was fucking awesome because he's Dave Grohl. So anyway,
it looks it really looks like, many years ago when Johnny Trigg pushed me out of the way when we were at the Kingsford Invitational. It looks like you've just stuck the phone up and caught him mid-stride, and he doesn't even know you're there. He was just getting ready to walk over you. It's great. I love it.
It was like a drive-by.
Yeah.
It kind of was. He did consent to taking the photo, though.
All right.
So, but I just thought that was funny, and I had to share it with you because he posted it on his Instagram today. But his is a little different because Tuffy's like, there was that time that Dave Grohl came, and I taught him the ways of cooking pork, and mine's like, hey, can I take a selfie with you?
Yeah, keep walking and you can take it, lady. I got to get to the next tent. I'm Dave Grohl from the Food Fighters.
Who is this girl? Exactly.
Yeah,
so
I'm a big fan of the Food Fighters, so that's great that he took it. So, all right, so go to grillgirl.com, the website, or follow at grillgirlrobin, ROBYN, on Instagram, and maybe we'll be at 17 or 18,000 followers next month. Robin, have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you, Greg.
There she is, Robin Lindars, the Grill Girl, with a forced selfie with Dave Grohl. My man was like, the cops are behind me. You want this selfie? You better run with me. It's kind of a weird selfie, but a great selfie at the same time. You know who doesn't have a selfie with Dave Grohl? Me. It's because I don't go to Memphis in May. I wonder if somebody else might have a selfie of Dave Grohl. No names, please. All right, we are way late. Let me see how I'm going to catch up here. First, I'm going to talk to you quickly about Southside Market and Barbecue. Let me see. Let me accept that. Okay, we're ready for that one at 14 past. Established in 1882, Southside Market is the oldest barbecue joint in Texas. They've been owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations. Famous for the original beef sausage, which is coarse ground and a natural pork casing. They also have authentic Central Texas barbecue to sell as well. All meats, including the prime brisket, slow smoked for many hours over real Texas post oak wood. They ship nationwide via the online store, southsidemarket.com. They also ship fresh and smoked sausages nationwide in case you're not local. Shipping customers can choose to order now and ship later, include a custom gift note, and mail to multiple addresses without additional charges. All shipped items are vacuum sealed to ensure freshness and ease of preparation for the customer. Shipped with dry ice to ensure complete freshness upon arrival. All meats inspected on that on-site USDA facility. On-site meat markets for fresh and smoked products. Custom orders are welcome as well. 2 restaurants for you to eat in if you are so inclined. The Elgin, Texas since 1882 and Bastrop, Texas since 2014. Grocery distribution through Texas and many surrounding states. But if you go to southsidemarket.com as you check out and it asks for the promo code, use code BBQ Central. That's BBQ CENTRAL, BBQ Central, all lowercase, one word. You get 10% off your entire online order, not the first time, but each and every time. So get the slammers, get the beef sausage, get the cheddar jalapeno, get the Polish sausage, you get it all. Get a brisket or 2. Save 10% when you check out with code BBQ Central. And we are back to wrap the first hour in a brief fashion. Stick around, we'll be right back.
This is Bobby. And this is Jennifer. And we're from Cleveland, Ohio. And you are listening to the BBQ Central Show.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the BBQ Central Show.
All right, we are back. Thanks again to Robin Lindars for joining me last segment. GrillGirl.com, at GrillGirlRobin, her Instagram. Also, thanks to Tuffy Stone, Cool Smoke Barbecue Pitmaster, and your 2019 Memphis in May World Champion. Both in shoulder and overall. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Joe Catone just sent me an email that is absolutely incredible. If I go in too far, can anybody see this? Let me go to the... Yeah, you can't see that. It says Americans don't eat horses. Uh-oh. What? We will someday, sir. Missing the show for a local awards night, but saw this horse meat sticker in my home in Chandler, Arizona. Wanted to pass it along. Thank you. That's disheartening. All right, let's go to that second hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine. How's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
58 cents for wiener.
Oh, listen, Lavernia, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. It's the Barbecue Central Show. If you're just tuning in, you've missed the entire first order. Shame on you. However, the show's being recorded at this very moment. So starting at 11:55 tonight, you can get the first hour in podcast. To go to any podcast platform, subscribe to the show quickly and easily. That way you never have to miss a show again. Even if it seems like a great idea, which I don't think it is. You'll never miss it. Easy enough. Thanks again to Tuffy Stone and Robin Lindars joining me last hour. Still to come on the show tonight via the Fogo Charcoal Hotline is Sara Ray Lewis from Stanley Thermos. Looking forward to that here in about 4 or 5 minutes. Don't forget, you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram and Twitter /BBQ Central Show on Facebook. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this Friday, episode 73, if you can believe it. And we journey back to February 2012. Show favorite Ted Reeder was on talking about planking. And we all know that Ted has planked anything and everything to include such items as gum, mashed potatoes, chili, and Twinkies injected with Jack Daniels. Also in the episode, you will hear a discussion on the Paula Dean incident that happened back in 2012, with her being racial. Well, I hate that. I hate it. I can't believe I didn't mute that out. Hold on. I got a couple minutes. So make sure you are subscribed to the show on podcast. Again, hit all the platforms, search for the Barbecue Central Show, subscribe. And every Friday, a brand new edition of the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less will be deposited into your feed. I got an email last Thursday alerting me to this, and if you are a fan of Aaron Franklin, you'll be interested. He has just released his master class on cooking barbecue and some other items like steak and building and maintaining a fire in an offset pit, cooking ribs, etc. If you are interested, you go to masterclass.com and search for Aaron Franklin, Aaron. The singular class is $90. You can get an all-access pass to all of the master classes for $180 a year. So, spend double the amount that you have access to not only Aaron Franklin, but Jodie Foster and Gordon Ramsay, and the list goes on. But if you just want the singular class, it's $90. Seems pretty good, I guess. I mean, if you're interested, you might want to check it out. So, again, that would be masterclass.com, and then I'm sure there's a search thing there. Or if you're on Facebook or you are some type of barbecue or grilling lover, I mean, it's all over in those sponsored ads that Aaron Franklin has a new masterclass. So if you didn't see it, I just wanted to pass that along. And we can go from there. All right, Sara Lewis coming up out of the break. I'll talk to you quickly about the Barbecue Guru. They've always believed that outdoor cooking should be easy because it can be, especially with the Monolith Guru Edition grill. Monolith is the world's first temperature-controlled smoker with a built-in power draft fan. This means smarter control and greater freedom with automatic temperature control. Easily choose your cooking time and temperature and let the Monolith do the work of a sous chef or a barbecue pit master. With minimal effort, you now have oven-like precision at the grill, and you can serve the tastiest, juiciest meals each and every time. If you have any questions, you give them a call, 800-288-GURU, or visit the website, bbqguru.com. That's bbqguru.com. If you already have a Guru controller and you ordered the Monolith, you don't need a new controller to control the fan. Just hook up the controller right to the fan that's built in, and away you go. Sara Lewis coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And this portion of the show is being brought to you by Smithfield, who also brought you the 2019 Memphis in May winner. There's still a few spots left to be a part of, are you signed up for the Smokin' with Smithfield National Barbecue Championship? Registration free. Sign up today. Hit smokinwithsmithfield.com for all the details. Also, if you're ready to find out where you rank against all competitive barbecue cooking teams across the country, visit the same website to check your rank on the Smokin' with Smithfield National Barbecue Championship leaderboard. That's smokinwithsmithfield.com. That is Smokin, S-M-O-K-I-N, smokinwithsmithfield.com. All right, my guest in the second hour actually has ties to the show, just not her directly per se. We'll talk to her about that here in a second. There are some products that are legendary throughout time, and you can see a logo or a color, and you know immediately what it is. And for this product, at least for me, that's the institution green that signifies Stanley thermos. But they have other great products as well that you might not be aware of. And here to help us out tonight is the Eastern Sales Manager for Stanley, first-timer to the show. We welcome Sara Lewis to the show. Sara, how are you?
How are you?
I am absolutely fabulous, Sara. Well, look at this. You have quite the display going on. I love it. Coolers and thermoses and growlers and all that. I mean, that is unbelievable. That's quite a cache. I mean, a perk of a job, right?
Yeah, it certainly is, definitely. This stuff's built to last, so I think I've got quite the collection to last me the rest of my lifetime.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So now, before we get into the Stanley stuff, for those that aren't familiar, you are the daughter of my Tennessee embedded correspondent, that being Steve Ray, who is the one who actually made that initial connection for us. So since this is a barbecue and grilling show by most accounts, let's start out a little bit by learning where your interest level may or may not be in the live fire cooking industry.
Well, I'll say one thing I love about my dad's involvement in barbecue is that he camps outside now with his friends. I think that's definitely a perk to his new hobby. Me personally, though, I've always loved barbecue. However, I became a vegetarian when I was 16, so I've got a great recipe for vegetarian barbecue, and I can share that with you after this. But that's my involvement with barbecuing.
All right, so I'm interested to know, like, what steers you away from meat, just like a personal choice, or were you like on a health thing and you've just continued it? Like, why do you choose vegetarian lifestyle?
Yeah, maybe all of the above.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't feel any guilt about eating vegetables and fruit. So.
Well, oddly enough, and kind of the same and not the same at all, I don't feel bad at all for eating animals. They are delicious. Was Steve big into like barbecue and grilling growing up, or I mean, did you notice that this was something more that he's taken a fancy to later?
Well, I would say the barbecue side has been later, but growing up, he was always at the grill. We had burgers, I feel, at least one night a week. Every week was burger night. And I will say, I do recall back from the days of eating meat, my dad's burger is pretty delicious.
All right. So do you have any interest in those? And these have become very popular here, especially. They've been out for, I think, a couple years at least, but over the last handful of months, they've spun up incredibly in popularity. The what they're calling the plant-based alternatives, like a Beyond Burger or Impossible Burger. Are you familiar with those, and do you like them?
Yeah, they're pretty good. The first time I had one, the waiter asked how I liked my burger cooked, and I was like, no, I want the Impossible Burger, and they let me order it, rare, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, it was really juicy. It's been long enough that if I say something tastes like meat, I'm pretty certain I'm wrong.
Right. Good. Sara Lewis joining me here on the show. All right, so let's get a little bit of a professional background on you. Are you somebody that has always been with Stanley, or Are you just generally in this kind of an industry and found your way to Stanley? How does that work?
Yeah. So I've been in the outdoor industry for, over 15 years. And I came across Stanley in January. I started with them. And I manage the territory of Eastern Canada and the Eastern United States. But it's a great company. I love working for them.
Do you have, I'm sure you could just go on and on because of the training and all that knowledge that you have there, but for the folks that maybe they know, because also I have mine right here. This is 15 years old, by the way, and it still looks like as good as it did when I bought it. But can you give us a little bit of a background on company history and like flagship products and all that stuff?
Yeah, so I mean, it's an awesome story. So William Stanley was an inventor. He's compared to the likes of Tesla, Edison, Alexander Graham Bell. But so he was an electrical engineer, and he owns or still holds a lot of patents on the modern day transformer. But he invented double-walled stainless steel vacuum insulation. And he did that for his electrical engineer job. But the next thing he made was this classic bottle. So this is our extra, extra large. But, back then you needed something to keep your coffee hot all day while you're at work. And so that's where the Stanley came into play. It's pretty cool. And then, 106 years later, it's still a great product. We still have a lifetime warranty on all the goods we make. It may look similar to some of the old ones, but there's a lot of improvements, and the bottom line is they're still built to last a whole lifetime.
Vacuum insulation. So how does that compare to something else that might be on the market? I think, one of the, from a consumer side, and you're talking about you need something to have your coffee hot all day. Well, when I got my first over-the-road sales job, I was like, well, I don't want to be buying coffee 50 times a day. I just make a pot, get something that will keep it hot all day. So, of course, I remember my dad had a Stanley thermos back when he was doing the same thing, so I got the one that I just showed you. And it keeps it hot all day. But the thing that I like the best is there have been some other thermoses that have made their way in and out of my house, but they kind of look like a shiny glassy mirror kind of a thing, and inevitably shit cakes onto it or almost looks like it cooks onto it, and then I throw it out. But this doesn't happen with the Stanley.
Yeah, and I think that's just because we have 106 years experience of making this product. So we have a lot of control over the manufacturing of the steel, and it's the highest quality you can get on the market, and that just comes from experience, I think.
How long? I don't know if you know or not, but like when the initial bottle is released, how long was there between that and like the next product that was offered out? Because I would imagine this was a pretty big hit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So William Stanley invented, this item here, this bottle, and then he died 3 years later.
Oh.
But the item was such a hot item that the factory continued on, and so today it's still a company. But I would assume it's something like the food jar. So this item here, you guys have seen, this is one of our new colors, but the food jar, like a lot of folks have these in their cupboards too, just for taking chili in their lunches. But I'd say that's probably the next evolution from the bottle. But to be honest, I don't know the answer to that question.
So, I assume being the Eastern sales manager, you're on the road quite a bit. Do you have any unique food stories or like cool places that you've always heard about that, I happen to be in this town, so I'll try it and it met expectation, or perhaps on the other side where people are like, if you're here, you got to go here, and you tried it and it didn't bring the heat?
Yeah. Well, I do like spicy things, and I'll say this isn't in any way related to barbecue, so I do apologize.
We also love food here on the show, so we're all foodies at heart.
But I I eat a lot of Indian food. You had mentioned the heat, and I like to order Indian food, Indian hot, and as I travel, I make sure to hit up the local Indian restaurants.
So are you calling from a job perspective? Are you calling on like distributors or like big stores like a Cabela's or something like that? Or how do you manage sales and stuff?
Yeah, so we sell, you can find Stanley products at Walmart. We sell to LL Bean. We sell to Dick's Sporting Goods. We're an outdoor centered company, but that's just because all of our products are meant to make some part of the outdoors simpler. But yeah, we sell all over the world. Some people are hot in France. We're really hot in South America. But that's for the tea drinking. But Stanley products, I think just because they're so functional, they're sold in 100 countries around the world.
Do you know where the original green came from?
Hammertone green. I know it wasn't in the beginning of the line.
That wasn't the original color?
It wasn't an original color. I want to say it was introduced sometime around World War II. Stanley thermoses were actually in bombers. And it kind of has a military nod, but you stumped me once again. I don't know the answer of when Hammertone was introduced to the product line.
Yeah, it's like it's both ugly and endearing all at the same time. When I was talking about it in the top of the show, I'm like, I don't have to show you the Stanley part. All I have to do is just hold this up, and you see that color, and you're like, oh, that's a Stanley thermos, without a doubt, which has to be key.
No, I love the color. Yeah, I like it. It sparks like an emotional memory. I remember, my dad giving me hot chocolate at Friday night football games, or, it takes me back. But I love the color green. Looks great against these pink walls too.
Yes,
right?
It really pops, no doubt about it. So one of the things that you have, and they're probably off to your left as we're looking on the screen to the right, are the coolers. So
yeah.
As I'm sure you're probably aware, your dad is very rich, and he's always carrying these, Yeti coolers, and you see Arctic coolers and Grizzly coolers and all this other stuff. They appear to all have a few things in common. Heavily insulated, roto-molded, I believe.
Yeah.
But there also seems to be a variance in price point. So probably where, aside from the bottles, which probably everybody that's a barbecue person has one of these. I don't know how familiar the barbecue world is, that you guys have the outdoor cooler section as well. So how do these compare, contrast to some of those more well-known and high-priced coolers?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, one thing about Stanley is we make products to meet the general consumer. We're not trying to be an elitist brand. For over a century, we've been making something that everyone can afford and use. And the same goes for our coolers. So, we don't make a roto-molded cooler, but we do have a double-walled foam insulated cooler. So, it keeps stuff hot or cold for days. But these are really nice. They've got a gasket liner so they won't leak. And then this one here will hold, I think, over 24 beers.
Wow.
Or 21 cans. But yeah, 36-hour cold on this guy. And then the 30-quart one that we've got in the back, it's a little bit taller shape. It's meant to be comfortable to sit on around a campfire. But it's a 4-day cold. But light enough when you've got it loaded, you can actually carry it to the campsite or to the tailgate or wherever you're using it.
Yeah, you don't need to get the accessory that has the wheels and the tractor trailer that you have to pull it because it's 700 pounds.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. We're the only cooler company that I know of or that I've ever heard of that offers 100% lifetime warranty. So
on the coolers too, huh?
Pretty sweet. Most cooler companies are about 2 to 5 years.
Yeah. Do you guys have any presence in the barbecue community that you know of at the moment?
I see us. I'll say I'm a big fan of my dad's barbecue. I have never tasted it, but I'm his #1 fan. And so I attend the shows or the contests, but I see our products everywhere at the contest, so I know that we're a favorite brand among a lot of grill masters. But I don't think we're sponsored too many barbecue events. We should definitely do that, though. It's built to be outside, and you can't really barbecue inside.
No doubt about it. We're talking with Sara Lewis, the Eastern Sales Manager for Stanley. And the website, by the way, Stanley-PMI, like Papa Mike India, PMI.com if you want to check it out. What are some of the, I mean, aside from the classic bottles, is it the food jars that are more, that are also very popular? And I also saw there was like a growler, which looked like it was pretty cool looking too.
Growlers are great. We've got a pretty big beer market. I love this thing right here. So this is our traditional beer stein. It closes just like a Bavarian stein. But it'll keep your beer carbonated for a long time. It'll keep it cold really nicely, but it'll also keep it hot for 5 hours. So, if you want to drink coffee out of a stein, it's definitely a cool pick. But in food services, we sell a lot of these just really nifty food jars. So these will keep something hot for 8 hours or cold for 8 hours. But at a barbecue competition, I could see this being great for having condiments out on the front counter. Because given that it's going to be cold for 8 hours, you could easily have mayonnaise or, something that might need refrigeration. But these are just an easy solution. I use these a lot in my lunch. You can actually pack ice cream in that if you need something.
Oh, really? All right. Well, good to know in case you need that midday ice cream fix. It's not going to melt. What about new products? Is there anything that you guys are currently working on or getting ready to release that would be okay for the public to know about?
Yeah. So this item here, this is my personal drink cup, so I won't tilt it too much, but it's full of iced tea right now. But it looks like this is just a color treatment up here, but kind of the holy grail to drinkware is to have a glass container taste. But the problem with glass is that it's breakable.
Yeah.
And so this is actually a fired ceramic bonded to stainless steel. So it's kind of like, ceramic, like your coffee mug in the morning. But this won't taste like steel if you've ever, kind of tasted stainless steel in your tumblers at home. It has the cleanest taste of any drinkware I've ever used, but it's completely unbreakable. It won't chip, it won't stain, and it's tasteless. It's perfect. But yeah, we're the only folks that are doing this, and it's 100% dishwasher safe. All of the products we make can be run through the dishwasher, and that's something not many of our competitors can say. But we build that into our warranty as well.
Nice. So if you are into coolers and thermoses, or you're looking to upgrade the line that you might have, because you might have some pieces of crap like I used to have before I stepped it up to the Stanley line, then first check out the website stanley-pmi.com. Then, of course, any outside place is going to carry a lot of these products as well. And we're talking with Sara Lewis, who is the Eastern Sales Manager. Sara, really appreciate the time tonight. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You got it. There she is. That is Sara Lewis on the Fogo Charcoal Hotline talking about Stanley products, the bottle, the food service stuff, or the food containers, and then that tumbler that she had. Oh boy. Maybe if I asked Steve really nice to ask Sara to get me a free one, because I would never do that. I would never do that, right? No way, man. Come on. Again, 18 years old. Doesn't look a day older than one I got. Let me give it a sniffy sniff, too. Look at it. Oh. This thing is the best. And I will use it again tomorrow, like I used it today. All right, that's stanley-pmi.com, stanley-pmi.com. Thanks again to Sara Lewis, Eastern Sales Manager for Stanley. We are open for the rest of the show, so if you want to jump in, 216-220-0966. You can also email the show, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. It's an incredible ear itch there. I haven't had that for a long time. And let me find this quick document. Where is that? Here we go. Yeah. So if you want to jump in, let's do this. If you want to try and win a prize. Oh, wait. Oh, dear. If you want to try and win a prize, we can work out a game. Do a Can You Remember? I'll ask you a question about a preceding interview that I've had this evening. You get that right, and we'll figure out a prize to get you. 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQ Central Show.com is the email address. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to Sara Lewis for joining me. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring or connect via Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck because Fireboard is fully integrated with both. You can find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232. That's the good folks over at Fireboard. Let me peruse the email real quick. No. Okay. I'm a little remiss as I had Tuffy Stone on, and I quickly realized that we probably weren't going to get to 4 or 5 of the items that I was looking to cover. But, I mean, typically that's what happens when I'm putting the show together. I over-prep for show outline stuff, thinking that we'll race through it, and then I'm going to have to figure out how to come off with stuff off the top of my head. But luckily, that has never happened before, and I promised myself this year that if I got through all the questions and there was still 7 minutes left, I was just going to end the interview. That was going to be it. I'm going to try and stretch it out if it doesn't stretch out, if it's not stretch out worthy. But I was remiss in the fact that I did not ask Tuffy, since he is in the BBQ Hall of Fame. Last year he won in, I believe, about the 9 potential I don't even know, the short list, the 9 people on the short list that will end up making up 3 that are the 2019 BBQ Hall of Fame class. And I didn't ask him about it. I'm a little remiss. That's all right. Maybe next time he's on, we'll talk about it. Oh, come on. No. I got this. Oh, okay. I got to turn my ad blocker off. Pause on the site. Now I got to refresh it. This is a couple weeks old, but actually it's about a month old. I've mentioned it on the show a couple times. I actually sponsored 2 segments of the show. CBD oil and CBD. I mean, are we down with CBD? You know me. CBD has been a topic on the show over the past, let's say, month and a half, 2 months, and I wanted to bring this story to you back when it was actually happening. But we've had a lot of great bookings on the show. We've had a lot of other great things that I've had to rant about on this show, which is spectacular. But if you missed it, Carl's Jr., which is also known as Hardee's in some other regions of the country, introduced their CBD-infused hamburger 2 weeks ago. Because why? It was 4/20. That's right. April 20th. Do I want to look at this? Look at that. Pardon me. Where's my cough button? Here's the story. Carl's Jr. became the first major fast food chain to debut a cannabis-infused burger. So on Saturday of 4/20, they debuted the CBD-infused Rocky Mountain High Cheeseburger Delight. I mean, can we play it up anymore? How about just the CBD burger? That's got a pretty intuitive name to it. Not the Rocky Mountain High Cheeseburger Delight. This was debuted at a single location in the Denver area. The CBD burger was available for how much? How much was this burger available for in U.S. dollars? $4.20. It was a one-day testing fittingly held on April 20th, a weed-filled celebration for many Americans. That's right. In case you didn't know, 420 is code for getting nice. And when it falls on that day and that part of the year, 420, a lot of Americans take time out to burn the hippie lettuce. Now, with the test, Carl's Jr. has become the first major fast food chain to roll out a cannabis-infused menu item. If even just for one location and a one-day event, the Cheeseburger Delight consists of 2 beef patties topped with pickled jalapenos, pepper jack cheese, fries, and CBD-infused Santa Fe sauce. Carl's Jr. has been working on the CBD burger since its vegan Beyond Meat burger launch in early January, according to Patty Trevino, Carl Jr.'s senior VP of brand marketing. Unlike with most menu item tests, one of Trevino's earliest conversations about Carl's Jr.'s decision to make CBD-infused burgers with the company legal team. The Denver restaurant was picked as the 420 test spot in part because Colorado legalized recreational marijuana back in 2014. It's been almost 6 years since then. Wow. Trevino said the test is more than a one-day 420 stunt. Carl's Jr. will be monitoring sales and customers and franchise response. If all goes well, Trevino said expanding the test remains an option with the possibility of one day rolling out a CBD-infused burger across the U.S. Now, remember, as we talked about at length on this show as it relates to CBD oil or CBD products when we had the folks at Early Bird who were kind of the official/unofficial CBD purveyor to the Barbecue Central show. It's missing a key component. If you think CBD is going to get you high, you're wrong. If you're trying to do a work around the man by getting high off of something that isn't a joint or vape weed juice, CBD isn't going to get you. It's got like 0.003 of THC. Comparable perhaps to what would be akin to a non-alcoholic beer. I think non-alcoholic beer still has a certain amount of alcohol, but it is so minuscule. They would never card you. You couldn't drink enough of those non-alcoholic beers. So if you're looking to get high in a different way, CBD isn't going to help you there. And there's been more and more cases where CBD has been helping people get over aches and pains and anxiety. I had a fan of a show recently post on Instagram that his wife just had double knee replacements, I think it was. And they bought CBD from Early Bird, used the discount, I think it was 20%. And she started a regimen of CBD, and it's helped her tremendously to deal with the pain and help in the aid of recovery. So I think the mindset is definitely shifting away from a black underbelly of weed use and weed's the devil. And I mean, certainly it's still illegal in lots of different areas, and work has certain rules that they can push down on you. So if they don't want you to smoke weed, or you get randomly drug tested, if you're a commercial truck driver, obviously you better not be doing that, because at any point you could get pulled in for a drug test. So there are still rules against it, even if it was widely legal. Weed in general, I'm talking about, even if it was widely legal, there are still rules that you're going to have to live under if you want to keep a job or do this or do that, right? So that was a story that took place that I wanted to talk to you about. The CBD burger from Carl's Jr. Also, I don't know if this is still happening or not. This has been a topic of conversation on this show at least once a year. As I'm quickly scanning for a date, this was back in the beginning of April. And again, hyper-regionality in its essence. Cannibal sandwiches, a polarizing and misunderstood Wisconsin tradition, are back. No! Get that big stuff out of here. A holiday dish going back generations, the raw beef delicacy may be making a comeback. Yes, I hope it's making a comeback, because what we need more in this life are Melba toast base, ground beef raw with 2 or 3 slivered onion slices, salt and pepper to taste. Now let's eat it. Sounds great, right? Imagine it's the holidays, and to quiet your pre-dinner hunger, someone hands you a slice of rye bread topped with a thick spread of fresh, raw beef, chopped onion, sprinkle of salt and pepper. Sounds great? Probably not. At first, you look at it like, excuse me? Am I supposed to do or eat this? Said Jeff Zupan, operations manager of Bunzel's Meat Market in Milwaukee, a lifelong cannibal sandwich enthusiast. Cannibal sandwiches, longtime Milwaukee tradition. Come Christmas time, Bunzel's goes through over 1,000 pounds of raw beef and about 250 pounds of raw onions exclusively for cannibal sandwiches. While southeastern Wisconsin's may be the more eager cannibal sandwich consumers, the snack has been spotted across the upper Midwest. Some also know it by the name of tiger meat or wildcat. Chef Justin Carlisle of Ardent in Milwaukee remembers it growing up from his family in Sparta. Not wanting to get made fun of by his older brothers, Carlisle would do his best to disguise the raw meat because he probably realized it might be gross. But it continues to be popular. So, once again, and Stephen Reichlin was under the impression that these folks weren't eating ground beef like the prepackaged stuff that you might take a handful of, work into a patty, and slam on the grill. He thought they were grinding their own pieces of beef. Like a 4-pound prime rib, you put it in the grinder and use it that way. And then you got to make sure your grinder's all cleared out and cleaned out, so the next time nothing nasty is going on there. Despite its history, cannibal sandwiches' popularity has plummeted. Thank goodness. The dynamic of life changed. Fewer people lived on farms. Health concerns were raised, and processed convenience foods took over. Carlisle tied cannibal sandwich popularity to other traditional Wisconsin fare, which has seen similar fates like pickled herring and liver sausages, which often sat side by side on the snack table at family gatherings with the cannibal sandwich or the tiger meat. So, a Wisconsin delight. Maybe this is the last story I ever do on that. Quickly going to the email from John Dawson. Reps, I still have my green Stanley thermos bottle that I used on the flight line daily while working with B-52s in the frozen tundra of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan 32 years ago. John, you almost have double the years on your Stanley bottle than I have on mine. I mean, I got to be working into, I think I said 15 years, but it's probably closer to 18. That first over-the-road job that I got, hooked myself up with that. Lastly, I want to tell you about this story because it is basing out of Ohio State's campus. So if you are not a Buckeye fan, you will continue to hate the Buckeyes. But bacon vending machines hit Ohio State campus. Right. OSU bacon vending machine are a hit in Columbus. Many Ohio State University students are taking a break from studying for their final exams and making a bacon run. Senior Sarah Page, who studies meat science, says the bacon vending machines at the College of Food and Agricultural Environmental Sciences has turned out to be even more popular than expected. It has to be restocked 4 or 5 times a day. 4 or 5 times a day? Wow. It offers cooked bacon strips and bacon bits for $1. Proceeds to benefit the Meat Science Program. Members of the program are responsible for the bacon machine operation on the Columbus campus. The Ohio Pork Council sponsored the machine, with bacon donations coming from show sponsor Smithfield, also Hormel and Sugardale. The machine will remain on campus through the end of the year. Pre-dental students, Shay Myrtle, loves the overall doneness of it. How about that? So just another reason why you either love or hate Ohio State. Football team, basketball team. You like Columbus as a city. I love Columbus as a city. I could give a crap about Ohio State on its head. But a bacon vending machine, that may or may not push you to decide to go to Columbus for school versus somewhere else. A bacon vending machine. Wow. For $1 a pop, no less. Couple strands of Baco on your way to class. See you in pre-calc. Got to go hit the Baco vending machine. I grabbed a bagel from the 5 and Dime on the way over. Going to make myself a bacon bagel sando. It's going to be delish as I eat my pork, as I had to pre-calc. All right, we are ready to wrap the second hour. That means the show as well. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. Email from David at the QBBQ. Just got myself a Lang, which is amazing, and now I need to upgrade my grill, but I'm looking for a charcoal grill with a side smoker box or a grill I can smoke on. I only have a few hundo to spend. What do you suggest? To me, a few hundo means two, ranging up to $400, maybe $300, without any question, and I say this with peace and love. It's got to be a Weber kettle 100% of the time. Gotta be. You can easily smoke on a Weber kettle. You can use it as a charcoal grill. There's decent capacity, especially on the 22.5 inch. I don't recall right off the top of my head what the 26 inch Weber kettle goes for, but it's probably on the upper tier there. But I think the 22.5-inch gold One Touch is less than $200, maybe $225 or something along these lines. I mean, look it up on Amazon.com. There's no second guessing it. If you're looking for a charcoal grill, get a Weber kettle. Get the gold One Touch. Thank me later. It's awesome. You can smoke on it. You can grill on it. You can indirect grill on it. If you're fans with Maddie and Kiki on Instagram, that's the only grill that they use. Max Good has one. I've had one for generations. My father had one. It's the most popular charcoal grill ever on the face of the earth. It's like AmazingRibs.com of grills. The only thing that I wish they would go back to, and they can't because it would pretty much ruin the whole one-touch concept, but was back in the day, like, so I don't remember how old my dad's Weber kettle was, but I don't know, maybe he got it mid-70s, early 80s or whatever. When I started seeing it, he rarely used it. It was on the side of the house. But on the bottom of the bowl, instead of just the one handle that both cleaned the inside of the bowl and then also managed how the air was getting onto the coals from underneath, there were 3 different vent dampers, like the one that's on the top with the 3 holes. There were 3 of those on the bottom of the Weber kettle. I wish they would go back to that. I would sacrifice the convenience of cleaning them, and I have a shop vac. I can just suck out the flames if I want. But going back to being able to have that kind of a control with the amount of air getting sucked up through the bottom onto the coals, man, can you imagine being alive back then and having the luxury of 3 dampers on the bottom of that Weber kettle? Most people probably had no idea what the hell they were doing back then either. Oh, technology. That would be, Kevin Coleman, if you're listening, let's go back to that, all right? Let's go back to that. Also, let's get ready to head on out. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with the 2019 Memphis and May overall world champion. Also, the 2019 shoulder champion, Tuffy Stone, pitmaster of Cool Smoke Barbecue Team. Recap the big event, talked about a few other things as well. And we talked with Robin Lindars, the Grill Girl, grillgirl.com, at Grill Girl Robin, ROBYN on Instagram. She's got 15,000 followers and occasionally posts scantily and salacious pictures, but mostly cooking. And we were into the second hour with Sara Lewis from Stanley Thermos, Stanley-PMI, like Papa Mike India, PMI.com, Stanley-PMI.com if you're looking for cool coolers and bottles and thermoses and all that stuff. Big show planned for you next week. Everybody heard of Myron Mixon? He's in for the first hour. Embedded Correspondence in the second hour, if you can believe it. I will throw a word of caution out right off the rip here. There is a very small chance that the show will either be delayed or I will have to cancel because my oldest does actually graduate at 7 p.m., but it should be over, and I should be back at HQ getting ready here for the show. So just a quick word of caution there as we are ready to roll out of here. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is your program host and proud U.S. American Greg Rempe. Good night now.